The daughter-in-law spent 3 months preparing a 60th birthday celebration for her mother-in-law. However, on the birthday banquet day, the mother-in-law was dressed like a beggar. Everyone immediately accused the woman of being an unfilial daughter-in-law. However, the woman clearly bought her new clothes last week. The mother-in-law said the clothes were too expensive and she did not deserve to wear them. The outfit she was wearing now was good and convenient for housework. Hearing this, the younger sister-in-law immediately became furious. She accused the woman of making the elderly mother work. The woman usually barely had time to take care of the mother-in-law. How could she admit to such false accusations? However, the mother-in-law said the daughter-in-law was actually quite good. She even cleared out a storage room for her to live in. The woman was about to deny it, but the mother-in-law said she chose to live there herself. She said it was because she had a smell and did not want her daughter-in-law to dislike her, and it was convenient for her to wake before dawn to make breakfast, so the daughter-in-law would not scold her for being noisy while sleeping. The woman knew deeply that only those who falsely accuse you understand how unjust it is. In desperation, she begged the mother-in-law not to talk nonsense. The mother-in-law pretended to be hit and fearfully dodged. Then she casually revealed bruises on her hands. Everyone became extremely angry after seeing it. At this point, no explanation from the woman would help. However, the real tragedy had just begun. The husband rushed forward without a word and questioned his wife. He accused her of abusing his mother while he was away. He immediately demanded a divorce. The woman still tried to explain it was not like that. Unexpectedly, the younger sister-in-law could no longer hold back. She claimed it must be because the mother gave all the property to her. So the woman held resentment and bullied the mother. After speaking, she pushed the woman down. The woman suddenly felt dizzy and disoriented. She blacked out and fell to the ground. When she opened her eyes again, she found herself back 3 months earlier. At this moment, the mother-in-law was trying hard to persuade the daughter-in-law to let her move in. The woman clearly knew she would eventually be framed and fall into tragedy. However, she still agreed to let her move in, because this time she wanted to personally tear off the mother-in-law disguise. If she was not mistaken, her phone would receive a message at this time, because in her previous life at the same time the younger sister-in-law sent the mother's living expenses. The woman opened it and saw only $100. In order not to break the old woman's heart, she had to lie saying the younger sister-in-law gave a lot of money. However, the unaware mother-in-law secretly said the daughter-in-law pocketed her living expenses. She exaggerated, saying she even had to depend on the daughter-in-law mood to eat meat. This time the woman would not be so foolish again. She decisively showed the transfer record from the younger sister-in-law. The mother-in-law was stunned instantly. However, she quickly played the emotional card again. She said she did not need much money, just food was enough. The woman also said she would use the $100 to prepare a full month of rich meals. Helplessly, the mother-in-law did not change her nature. She immediately went to neighbors and twisted the truth. She claimed the daughter-in-law did not even give her food when the son was away. If the woman had not happened to see it, she would not know the mother-in-law was ruining her reputation everywhere. Thinking back to her previous life, the woman bought premium lamb. The mother-in-law disliked it, saying the smell was too strong. The woman bought fresh live shrimp and the mother-in-law said it was contaminated and could not be eaten. Even freshly bought fruit was considered unclean by the mother-in-law. However, when the woman was away, she gave all the expensive ingredients to her daughter to take away. Seeing the mother-in-law still acting in front of everyone, the woman decisively brought out all the ingredients she bought and displayed them. She asked how to make the mother-in-law eat a safe meal. Everyone realized it was not the daughter-in-law being bad but the mother-in-law being overly picky. This move immediately embarrassed the mother-in-law. However, even at this moment she was still shameless. She said she came from a rural background, had little education and was not used to such food. She suggested packing it up and sending it to her daughter. The woman immediately stopped her. She said the younger sister-in-law was a princess in the family. How could she give her something even the mother-in-law would not eat? After speaking, she urged the mother-in-law to go home quickly. She promised she would get the most nutritious and healthy food. After returning home, the woman immediately brought out a big meal. The mother-in-law opened it full of expectation and saw only instant noodles. The mother-in-law asked unhappily what the daughter-in-law was doing. The woman said this was good food. She recalled in her previous life when she was sick, the mother-in-law brought the same instant noodles. She claimed it had mushrooms and the right amount of carbohydrates. It could help the body recover quickly. Such a perfect dish, the woman must also serve it to the mother-in-law. Helplessly, the mother-in-law began causing trouble. She immediately called her daughter to show off her meal. She also subtly mocked the woman. The younger sister-in-law became furious after seeing it. She accused the woman of eating steak while giving the mother-in-law instant noodles. She angrily asked if she had any conscience. The woman immediately disagreed. She said the $100 living expense was only enough for 1 week of instant noodles. If you gave me $10,000 a month, she guaranteed she would arrange proper meals for the mother-in-law. The younger sister-in-law immediately changed her attitude. She scolded her mother for being lucky to even have instant noodles and not to be picky. Then she quickly hung up the phone. This made the mother-in-law hate the daughter-in-law even more. The next day, the mother-in-law started watching for the son's return date. The moment she heard the door open, she quickly knelt down, pretending to wipe the floor carefully. The son immediately thought his mother had been wronged. He rushed over at full speed and helped her up. The mother said she was exercising. She insisted the daughter-in-law did not abuse her. As expected, the mother and son were in sync and he immediately understood her meaning. He immediately prepared to question his wife. At this moment, the mother added fuel to the fire. She said she was old and a little grievance was nothing. Do not let it affect your marriage. The woman looked at the mama boy in front of her. She recalled in her previous life he also ignored right and wrong. He had spoken harshly to her more than once for his mother, and the mother-in-law always watched with satisfaction. Little did they know the woman would no longer be weak. She immediately slapped him. From this moment, the peaceful days of the mother-in-law family were over.